Green family, welcome back to the video. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing great. Like always, I have an interesting video planned out for you guys today. Blueprint family, there's a lot of things going on in Jamaica due to Hurricane Melissa. Also, a lot of things are being revealed, especially when it comes to the opposition. Today, there was a sitting of the House of Representatives, and the Prime Minister was in the House outlining the steps the government has to take moving forward. He was also there telling us the scope of the damages done to the West, and also what it would cost Jamaica to repair those damages, what Jamaica would have to sacrifice, the hard work that we in the East would have to put in to get this country running and get it back on track to economical growth. I'm going to share this video with you guys now so you can have a better understanding of the scope of what is to come for Jamaica to be able to move forward from this catastrophic event.
What? We anticipate a temporary slowdown in economic activity, particularly in the most affected parishes. Agricultural output will decline in the short term as farmers replant and livestock operations recover. The tourism sector, while resilient and working swiftly to reopen, will require targeted support to restore capacity and confidence. Small and medium-sized enterprises, especially those in retail, manufacturing and services, and the creative industries, have sustained significant losses and will need liquidity and recovery support to rebuild inventories, repair their facilities, and restart operations. At the same time, supply chains for food, construction materials, and consumer goods are being actively restored, though some market disruption may occur in the immediate weeks ahead. A very preliminary estimate suggests that short-term economic output could decline by 8 to 13%. Madam Speaker, this means that revenues will decline as well as economic activity slows, even as expenditures must increase to finance emergency relief, recovery, and reconstruction. This will place pressure on our fiscal targets. Pressure is a euphemism. As we did during the COVID-19 pandemic, my administration will act responsibly, transparently, and with foresight to protect lives and livelihoods while preserving Jamaica's hard-won macroeconomic stability. In this regard, it will become necessary to activate the lawful provisions under Section 48C of the Financial Administration and Audit Act, which allows for the temporary suspension of the fiscal rules in certain circumstances of national emergency or extraordinary economic disruption. We anticipate a rise in the debt-to-GDP ratio in the short to medium term as resources are channeled into rebuilding and resilience. Yet, Jamaica's record for disciplined fiscal management provides the credibility and space to respond decisively. The sacrifices that we have made and how this government has administered our fiscal affairs would have put us in the best position that this country has ever been to respond to a disaster. I want to say, Madam Speaker, that 40% of the island has been impacted from an economic perspective. It means that the other 60% of the island must double our economic output. Fields destroyed in St. Elizabeth, in Manchester, in Westmoreland must be replaced by fields brought into production in St. Thomas, in St. Mary, in Clarendon, in St. Catherine. The other half of the island that is not impacted, we must increase our output. Madam Speaker, this is a good point for me to say that there is a notion emerging that somehow we are getting a lot of aid and there's a lot of money coming in. Yes, we have made provisions, but all of that is temporary. And at some point, all of that will dry up. And the government must be able to stand on its own 2 feet. And manage its finances, because while we intend to ensure that the relief phase is efficiently conducted, the recovery phase might be extended. And therefore, with not just the loss of physical assets, but the requirement to spend on increased social safety net, vulnerable, welfare and social support, we will have to have the revenues to support it. And so I repeat the point, Madam Speaker, that economic recovery is not an insensitivity to human suffering. Economic recovery, it is the way in which we bring human suffering to an end early. And those persons who are opposed to us going back to school and going back to work, get that out of your mind. Get the economy up and running right away. That is the only way we are going to be able to fund the recovery quickly. And I urge all Jamaicans to get that mindset in. For the half of Jamaica that has not been affected, your productivity will have to increase right away.
So you hear that, Blueprint family? We in the East have been tasked with the responsibility to get the Jamaican economy up and running again. We have been tasked with the load of trying to cover the missing portion of our GDP. Blueprint family, this is not going to be an easy task, as what the Prime Minister said, but it's a task that we as the Jamaican people can accomplish. We used to hardship. We used to that. As Jamaican, we're born with a different set of resilience. So we can do this. We got this. Blueprint family, also, it's going to take a large amount of unity, a large amount of looking out for one another. And this is why it hurt my heart so much when I see Jamaicans trying to capitalize off this chaotic and destructive situation. For instance, some of the taxi man, them, not all, some are trying to raise up fear upon the Jamaican people. You have some people that are trying to sell food at chaotic price. The last time I heard, people were selling scallion for $1,000 a pound. It is not time for that. It's time to deal with one another with brotherly love. It's time to look and say, listen, we are Jamaicans, and we are one people taking care of each other. Get greed out of it. Get hype out of it. It's time to come together. Also, Blueprint family, the government made mention of relaxing the fiscal discipline. This means that it's a possibility of Jamaica government borrowing some money down the line. This is a measure that needs to be taken right now. Why? Because we just went through a catastrophe and Jamaica needs to spend a large sum of money right now to get back up infrastructure, get back people's life to a state of normalcy, and also grow back the Jamaican economy. And this is a very funny situation, Blueprinters, because when I heard the Prime Minister made mention of relaxing the fiscal discipline, it brought me back to the period of pre-election when the opposition was pressuring the government to relax the fiscal discipline, even go as far as to call the government wicked and evil. Even in the debate, I heard Peter Bunting made mention of this, that the fiscal discipline needs to be relaxed right now. But look at it. Suppose the government was a fool. Suppose this government was not thinking well. They would have yielded to that request by the opposition. Relax the fiscal discipline. And now Jamaica would be in a worse state. Because Blueprinters, because the government did not relax that fiscal discipline. Now the government have the opportunity to use that tool when it is needed. Now they can relax the fiscal discipline and use it at their advantage to grow the economy at a rapid rate. This is what happens when you have a calculative government, a government that is actually thinking. The thing about the PNP is they tend to throw ideas out there without any backing, with large figures. This is why you see Mark Bolling in a time of need, when Jamaica is in a time of need, telling the government to give away $50 million to MP like it's nothing. A time period when the government have to think clearly where spending is concerned. Every dollar right now that is going to be spent has to be spent purposefully. Every dollar that is put out there has to go out there and actually helping Jamaica to grow in some form of way. This is how a government is supposed to operate. When you look back on how the PNP did a campaign on the campaign trail, right now, if they had won and this storm hit, Jamaica would be in big problem. Because look at it. Again, this is another example. I remember when Mark Bolling did a walk around and a promise billions of dollars. $1 billion here, $1 billion there, $1 billion everywhere. When asked where he's going to get this money, he point to the growth of the Jamaican economy, that he would take it from that because the economy was predicted to grow at a certain rate and produce a certain amount of money. And we, as the well-thinking Jamaicans, told the people of Jamaica that don't make sense. You cannot make plans of a prediction and see it play out there now. I want to ask Mark Bolling a question. How you feel? Because if you had won and this storm come into place, Where would you get those money from to fund all those ideas? Blueprinters, the PNP is a joke. Blueprint family, you know, a lot of Jamaicans right now out there are fret, are worry if Jamaica can truly bounce back from this. The recovery estimate for Jamaica to recover from this is 7 years. Blueprint family, I know that Jamaica can bounce back. I know that Jamaica can recover from this because the first thing, we have a leader that makes sense, a leader that knows exactly what he is doing, and also a leader that has led us through a lot of chaotic situation. Yes, a first Jamaica get a category 5 hurricane. Damages that we have never seen before. Not from Gilbert, and some of these damages even exceed what Gilbert did. But remember, COVID was a pandemic, and the last time the world saw a pandemic was, I think, about 100 years ago. And our Prime Minister led us through COVID, allow Jamaica to bounce back from COVID, then Beryl it, and he led us through Beryl, and we also bounced back from Beryl. Same Prime Minister, another chaotic situation, and this is just going to be another situation in the history books that Jamaica bounced back from. It's not time to worry. It's time to put our shoulder to the wheel and begin working. That's it for today, Blueprinters. If you enjoyed the video, you already know what to do. Destroy the like button. Also, if you're a new viewer here, subscribe and turn post notification on to get notified anytime we drop a new video. Also, we as Blueprinters will live by 3 rules. Those 3 rules are: keep grinding, keep hustling, and remember, success is in the blueprint. See you later, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week.